My name is Bob Duncan. This is Fruit Trees and More Demonstration Orchard and Nursery. We are located near Sydney, just north of Victoria, southeast Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada. Today we're going to talk about growing pomegranates in this location. The climate locally is often described as a modified Mediterranean climate, which means that the summers are relatively cool and the winters are relatively mild given the latitude. So pomegranates are actually native to Iran to northern India and are commercially grown in California, Spain, and India, among other places. They are best adapted to climates with long, hot, dry summers, sufficient to ripen the fruit. So in our climate, pomegranates bloom from mid-June into July and August. The only fruit that is likely to ripen is from the earliest bloom, occurring in the latter half of June or very early in July. Now, pomegranates have beautiful pink to red blooms. They have both male-only flowers and bisexual or perfect or hermaphroditic flowers, which just simply means that both male and female parts in the same flower. Only the bisexual flowers will actually produce fruit. So what I have noticed in our local situation here is that there are no insect pollinators interested in the pomegranates. Even though they look beautiful to the human eye, insects seem not to be attracted. I have only occasionally seen a hummingbird visit them, but that's about it. So the bottom line is they do need to be hand pollinated. So this is accomplished when the pomegranate bloom, either male or bisexual, are shedding pollen from the anthers. So you use a soft brush, collect the yellow pollen on the soft brush, and brush the stigma of the open bisexual flower. That way you've transferred pollen to the stigma, and proper pollination will then occur and the fruit will develop normally. The male flowers, needless to say, do not produce any fruit. So the more bisexual flowers you have on your pomegranate bush, the better off you are. So pomegranates are hardy to about -12, and so in our climate here on southeast Vancouver Island, no winter protection is required. However, as I already said, they do need a long, hot summer. So it's important that you select microclimatic situations where extra summer heat units are developed. So you can see behind me, there's a south-facing wall with an overhang. So this generates additional heat units in the summer. Another alternative might be a high tunnel or any other similar location that generates extra heat units during the summer. Now the pomegranates, from late June bloom, the fruit will ripen as long as you've got a suitable variety in a hot enough location. Will ripen now in November. And this is the 19th of November. We've been picking pomegranates for a couple of weeks now. And they will hang on the tree for several weeks after they're technically ripe. So the pomegranates behind me, I can pick them and I can eat the arrows straight out, or I can press juice from them. Okay, so what you really want are varieties of pomegranates that will produce a sweet, acceptable fruit in our relatively cool climate and consistently set large crops of fruit. But we have discovered 3 different varieties that work well in our climate. So one of them is called Utah Sweet, as the name suggests. It was developed in Utah, so needless to say is very hardy. But it also ripens in a relatively short season, produces exceptionally sweet fruit, and the fruit is soft-seeded. So most pomegranates, especially the ones the previous years, the seeds were not soft. So Utah Sweet with its soft seeds is definitely a good thing. So then another variety is called Wonderful, which is actually the most common commercial pomegranate grown in California, but it reliably sets heavy crops in our climate. So behind me, this fruit right here is in fact wonderful, the most common one grown in California, and it performs well for us here as well. And then I have a third unnamed variety that was discovered at a mid-Vancouver Island location, just growing outside in an urban situation near some tall buildings where extra heat units were generated. So those are the three varieties that I most strongly recommend. So now what I'd like to do is split some fruit open and do the taste test as we usually do with the different types of fruits that we grow. Okay, so here are the three varieties of pomegranates that I found do well. This light colored one is called Utah Sweet. Then this one here is Wonderful, which is the most common one grown commercially in California. And this one, I don't actually know the name of it. It was just found on a tree growing up in the central part of Vancouver Island in a place called Courtenay. So, so pomegranates, when you open them, of course, they have little arrow, what they are called arrows. So I'll split this one open, and there's the arrows of the Utah Sweet. Now this particular variety has soft seeds, so you can eat the arrows. So I'm just going to take a few of them out of here. So there's a few arrows. And those seeds are soft enough that you can just chew them up and eat them. They of course make beautiful juice as well. And then this is the Wonderful, the common one from California. And you can see the juice, it's all over my hands now.